morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am so excited about this opportunity. It's wonderful meeting some of you earlier today. And, I'm just going to share my story, and hopefully we can have a conversation about how we can help grow Blue Henry. So we had our first sale in December of 2017. Blue Henry is we don't sell alcohol, we sell the mixers and the garnishes for cocktails. So there's no alcohol in our products. They can also be used for mocktails or to sweeten your tea or your lemonade. Interesting enough, our first I'll sort of describe our products. We have 6 simple syrups that are used to sweeten beverages. And our most popular flavor of the simple syrups right now is tamarind, which is very interesting. But we also have more mainstream flavors like cherry, lime, orange, ginger, and a new one that we've got for the spring is hibiscus, which you're starting to see a lot in. It's a popular flavor for flavoring teas and such. But probably it's tamarind because we're the only one really making a tamarind syrup. We also have candied fruit garnish, which is a very unique product for the cocktail industry because mostly you'll see just dehydrated fruits becoming very popular because they're also environmentally a nice way to garnish your cocktails because you have less waste because they last longer. But we actually candy them before we dehydrate them and candy them in a flavor that has cocktail bitters in it. So it adds, it makes them unique, and it adds a flavor that a lot of mixologists like to add to cocktails anyway, which is a bitters. We also sell a cotton candy that you can use to add to your cocktails. The cotton candy is fun. It's not for everybody, but it actually has brought a lot of attention to the company because, again, we're the only one that's sort of making cotton candy specifically to be used for crafting cocktails and beverages. So all of our products are handmade, in-house. They're all natural. And that is a big distinguishing factor for a mixer company because typically mixers are not all natural. They've got strange colors and things added to them. So that is a distinguishing factor for our company. We also produce in small batches because we're a small company, but that also helps us to be able to create a lot of and to cater to a lot of custom requests. So we can actually package the cotton candy specific to an event or specific to a restaurant or such. And we can make custom flavored syrups for events and for restaurants. So that has actually been really lucrative work for us. Before we were marketing direct to consumer, and then we started getting these custom requests, which are easy for us to accommodate and are more profitable, in fact, for us. And so that's one of the reasons why I came to chat with you guys today, because we see this as a growth area for us, and we're not exactly sure how to market and target this audience of how to get to do more B2B sales and to let them know that we're not just doing direct to consumer. In fact, we are available to handle custom requests for bars, restaurants, events, that sort of thing. Just a little bit more background. We are selling on multiple platforms right now. Of course, our own website, Etsy, and Amazon. Amazon is probably our most consistent sales channel right now. But we see these growth areas as being around the holiday season, we do very well with cocktail kits. We sort of say, hey, you can take this, that everything you need in order to make a cocktail. It's different than bringing a bottle of wine. And people seem to really resonate with that. As I mentioned, our tamarind syrup and these fruit garnishes that are unique. Our current audience of who we serve, I like to describe our target audience as the lady who always picks up the cocktail menu when you go out to a restaurant. She's willing to try something different and is open to experimentation, but she's also an entertainer and likes to bring those sorts of things to folks who she entertains in her home. Between the ages of 25 and 60, she's got this disposable income. She does regularly shop at Target, but just as regularly she shops at specialty stores. So the experience that we've had so far in terms of wholesale, we've done a number of events where we have worked directly with mobile bartenders who are looking for something that they don't have to craft themselves. We can bottle it for them and all of that before the event. And then also we have done some wholesale experience with working with retail establishments where they carry our products within their retail location. And also a couple of online retailers who focus on the cocktail supplies. So, my question is, as I mentioned before, is how do we target more business-to-business sales? How do we, at the same time where we're marketing direct to consumer, how do we also make ourselves known and available to more bars, restaurants, event planners, that we are a service available to them for their unique and custom needs.
Thank you very much. Laura.
I'm so sorry. So, thank you very much. I just cannot wait to try them. So in this moment we will asking you please, if you have any questions, raise your hand, say your name and your company. And if you have any comments or questions, please also write it out, so we'll give it to her. It's kind of hard to remember everything, so it's nice to have it written. So, yes?
Sorry, yeah, so Adriana, I like the idea. The only question I would have, I'm sorry, it didn't click your first is the thing. What's your cost spread between, like, say, your product for a garnishment versus just an orange that a bar is typically putting on? So I guess for me, the look at there is, in my concept, you're going after a high-end restaurant bar that's going to be able to make that spread, and that spread's incorporated. What is that like? What does that dollar value look like comparatively?
So we are slightly more expensive than if they were just to cut up an orange and use that as a garnish. However, there are a couple things that bar needs to consider. One, there is waste when they are cutting their own oranges. So at the end of the day, they've got to throw away whatever wasn't served. And so there's a longer shelf life with my product. The other thing is that because it's unique, that uniqueness is sort of like a flair for that cocktail. So there's other things they don't have to do because they've added this flair of presentation.
The only piece I would look at that is try to get to an idea before you go into them of how much they're using, because dollars matter, right? When you're going into that and they're going to sit there and say, well, I can get a bundle of oranges for X, you're going to charge me Y. But if you can sit there and really show, well, here's how much you would save by the amount of waste that you're you're actually utilizing every day compared to this, which can last over X amount of time. I think
Yeah.
being able to break that down, even if it's not an exact number, but enough to kind of say, hey, here's where we're looking, this is how much you'll actually save off of that, can be a big kind of
Yes.
thought-provoking point.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Let's have a question here.
Would you mind sharing, I'm sorry, I'm Alan Anderson. Would you mind sharing how much is your company generating revenue? You are selling something right now. I don't want to be fishing exact numbers, but are you making any is there any significant income that's coming in right now from it?
Yes, we are generating revenue to the level that I would like. No.
If you were.
Where is your, my other piece of that was, where is your revenue coming from?
I would say our most consistent revenue source right now is Amazon. We do very well on Amazon, particularly with our tamarind syrup and our ginger syrup, which we don't have as many competitors on that site.
So people are searching for garnishes for drinks, is that the idea?
They are searching for flavors, simple syrups. They are searching for tamarind, and also the search term that does well for us is bitters, and people will order our orange garnishes based on searching for the term bitters.
Good.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Hi, Rosemary Savino. I think you did a tremendous job of defining your consumer persona. Have you done the same thing yet with your wholesale persona?
Yeah, so in a way, we have started to define, we know which bars are more likely than others to be interested in our product. There are, you all are probably very familiar with, these specialty cocktail bars. They tend to make most of their stuff in-house. They're not looking to purchase outside. It actually happens to be the higher end, they're higher end but higher volume that seem to be more interested in what we're selling, because they want to show that they create craft cocktails, but they don't have the time to produce at the volume that I'm able to produce.
So have you yet defined, so that sounds like the establishment, but in the establishment, is there a decision maker, an influencer, like the whole chain of who should I convince, and then who do they have to convince that level? Because, and the reason I bring it up, for example, let's say you find bartenders, there are events, and a lot of people here know about them, where you can find those people concentrated in one place, as opposed to walking down the street and going into every bar.
Yes.
And then there's restaurant owners or chain influencers, that kind of thing. So if you've started that process, that's great.
Yeah. No, I agree that I could spend more time doing that, and definitely would rather not have to knock door by door.
Thank
Yes.
you very much.
So you mentioned direct visits and you don't want to do them.
Oh, no, I know that they are necessary. I know that. But
where are you located
yeah.
specifically?
We are in Capitol Heights, Maryland. It's literally right
Okay.
outside the city
Right.
line.
So when you're doing your door knocking, you're doing mostly in that area?
In DC, in all of Washington DC.
I work with several restaurants in the Fairfax area, and some of them do offer the craft cocktails. Do you have a liquor rep that will come by like every once a month or every now and then and say, hey, we're here, do you need anything?
Yeah, no, we haven't hired that, and I'm thinking that may be necessary, but yeah, it seems that is the way, that's how my understanding of how most liquor distributions occur to bars and
Yeah,
restaurants.
and
They
a
have
couple
someone
of restaurants that I work
yeah.
at that I see the distributors drive,
Yeah.
they usually show up on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and they all come in flocks, and
Yeah.
whether they're selling this, the beer, the liquor, the cocktail napkins, they all show up on those same days. And
Yeah.
kind of, yeah, it's too
Okay.
You know the same thing.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm curious whether you see yourself as a fashion business.
can you explain more about that?
Well, currently, custom cocktails are in fashion.
Yes.
In the past, they weren't in fashion.
Mm-hmm.
The trends within the custom cocktail sphere follow fashion in a way. It seems to me, and I'm not an expert, and so I can talk about it off the cuff. It seems to me that the way ideas in cocktails flow may follow the same kind of dynamics as fashion.
Yeah, so I think what has, very much in a way I agree with you, it seems that cocktails have been following what the food industry has done with sort of, you know, the celebrity chefs and how they are trending, and then the restaurant industry
If I
trends
may
are
be
very
so
similar.
bold as to follow
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
notion, there's a whole universe of people who understand social media marketing with influencers.
Yes.
So, you know, to identify the influencers who are influencing the trends in custom cocktails and have them start flashing your products, which will then excite bartenders, will then, so it'll flow by fashion to the early adopters, which are your custom cocktail
Mm-hmm.
small places, which will then flow to larger places where, when it becomes more an established trend. It seems to me that investigating that pathway and that dynamic would be interesting for your business.
Okay.
I'm not sure that it's the right answer for your business, but I think it's worth a look.
Thank you very much. So I would recommend please write everything and be more concrete because we have a lot of people to go through. Yes?
Hi, Dan Allen, Alakai Solutions. So, in your challenge there, it sounds like you're trying to have them come inbound marketing help. I suggest another perspective. So, you're a small business. Certainly, anything you can do online, electronically, helps you scale and generate revenue. But also, part of it is name recognition and getting the glitz that goes with it. And I would advise that you consider doing the face-to-face outreach with the high-end resorts in the area, high-end restaurants, to getting in front of the manager. See if they have a creative bartender
Mm-hmm.
or chef who wants to do something different, offer a tasting, that type of thing. Because you want to find a concentration of people with the interest in income, willing to try something different. And I can tell you, people who are on vacation in these places like the Ritz, Trump, National Harbor, I mean, we have a lot of really high-end
Yes.
places. They are the ones who would love to try something exciting on that menu. And then that volume could be very large for you, right?
Yeah.
Large, consistent customer. And fewer of those versus having the little boutique shops, which kind of
Yes.
ebb and flow.
Yes.
A lot of overhead to manage and communicate and keep them happy versus having maybe just a couple big ones to help you get your legs, right?
Yeah.
You still want to pursue this inbound marketing strategy. I think that's absolutely something you have to tend to, but also think about trying to get a couple of those big eggs, you know, in your basket to help you stand up your business and grow.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes?
So what other markets, online markets aside from Amazon, are you into, or are you, or strategizing to delve into?
Yeah, so we're also on Etsy, which has created a lot of custom requests for us for events, baby showers, weddings, that sort of thing. And we have been pursuing some online retailers who specialize in cocktail supplies. And so we're on a couple, and we're trying to target some additional.
So one second part of that question is part of your strategy ultimately is to drive traffic to your website, so you don't have to deal with costs of Amazon or some of these others that you may be interfacing with.
It is obviously, it is most profitable if people come direct to our website, but it is also, being a small company, it's very easy also for us if we sell a large volume of product to, for example, we're on Behind the Bar, which is kegworks.com. So that's helpful for us that they highlight our product and sell it also, because that's less overhead for us, so, yeah.
Perfect, Jen?
Are you attending any conferences like Tales of the Cocktail in July in New Orleans, or where you could have booths or be more visible that way? Like, what's your thought on that?
We will not be at Tales of the Cocktail. The expense for that right now is a little bit too much for us to be able to present at Tales of the Cocktail. It's one of the challenges that I've had is being able to. You can't compete with a liquor company. The resources available to them and how they showcase and all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's just.
It's a lot.
Yes. So we're not quite ready for that in order to do it appropriately.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, I'm Helene. I have mostly retail and operations consulting background. And for me, this is tactical. So do you have any trouble meeting demand currently?
No.
None at all?
We're okay with
And you
that.
feel pretty good about how you can scale? Because this is an overwhelming amount of opportunity for you. Like, there's so many places you could sell your product that you could run before you walk very easily.
Yeah.
So it would be, retail's driven on gross margin and where you're making the most lucrative decisions. And you said that, your event planning or your event partnerships, your specialty partnerships are where you're making the most margin?
The most margin is when someone purchases direct from our website. That is the most margins right now.
So I think I would just be very careful to strategize like what areas you want to attack and have a game plan rather than going after so many broad areas, because it could get very overwhelming very quick. And I'd focus on margin, where your margin's the highest and where you have, in retail we kind of go tiered in thirds. Where's your top third, your middle third, your bottom third? And if you're at your top third, then where's your next third, and how do you bring that into your top third and look at where that next bit of margin could come from? Partner with event planners, wedding planners, that specialty market, because you are a specialty product. You're never going to probably get into restaurants the way a lower cost product would. So just be very tactical.
Okay.
That's a great tip. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, Chris Tomseth. I just want to build on what Jen was saying. So, if you're really kind of targeting the B2B, it's kind of old-fashioned, but some of these conferences and things where there are channel partners, so something like the National Wine and Spirits Association or the Alcoholic Beverage conferences, things like that where you can just go and probably for a relatively small amount of money exhibit. But it's really not about the exhibit, it's about you being able to make connections with potential channel partners there and getting them to redistribute on your behalf. Obviously you won't get everyone, but even a few I think would be an excellent return on investment.
Okay. Mark?
So I think it's an incredible idea. I think if I was a restaurant owner, I would wonder what the value proposition is for me. Am I trying to be fashionable, or am I trying to get someone who wasn't going to order a drink to order a drink, which brings my margins up? And then I am the opposite of your ideal customer because I haven't had a drink in 30 years. So I drink water at every restaurant. If you could get me to order something, and I'm always feeling left out, if you could show the value proposition of getting someone like me to actually order something and pay for something, that margin, but I didn't hear that in your original pitch, that your product will get people to order drinks when they wouldn't have ordinarily. And that's what I would want to hear to change my ordinary way of doing business.
Thank you.
That was a great point.
Yes.
Hey, John Rutenberg. When I looked at your challenge question, I kind of looked differently. I said, well, maybe you need to connect with a liquor manufacturer or distributor and go on their tail, so to speak. And again, relating to that very smart point about your capabilities to produce. If Seagram said yes, you have to be ready, so you have to walk before you run. By the way, congratulations on what you're doing. 2, if you could find the buyers, you were good at describing your C customer, your consumer. And so where they shop may have a bar accessory department. And if you could be selling right in that bar accessory department, that's a lot easier than knocking on doors. Perhaps gotta find a buyer. And third, find the right chain that has 10 restaurants and rather than finding 10 based on your persona.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are my thoughts.
Thank you very much.
Krista, excuse me, Breakaway Fitness. I'm just gonna piggyback on Mark's point over there because I have children. So if I had a place where I would go to a restaurant and you're catering to those children that are the mocktails, I think people will pay anything for their children. So when you go to these restaurants, I would push that point a lot in the sense of saying, you can make these kind of drinks for your children, and you know how some people just have milkshakes or whatever their thing is. You know, these other up-end restaurants, you can take your children here and they can get a mocktail and so something.
Thank you.
Hi, Rosemary from Gravity. I'm just going back to your challenge question. You obviously already have some wholesale clients. Have you asked them how they found you or what their buying decision was based on so that you could start to use that with your other research to find others like them or ask them for referrals to people that they think might be able to help you?
Yeah, every single one of them has been through networking. It hasn't been a cold knock on the door. That's why events like this are important. Gotta get out, right?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, my name is Omar Abdelrahim. I think we heard a lot of really good ideas. And do you have a budget that you allocated, or do you have in mind? And if something here that triggered, an excitement for you to do it, what would be your timeline to actually execute?
So, your first question was about a budget for marketing, a budget?
No, this is going to require some money, right? Regardless of which way you go.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to find is, have you decided, have you picked, do you have a budget in mind to be able to implement the strategy for B2B sales?
I have not set a budget for that.
Okay. So if someone here comes up with the idea that is like light bulb moment, right? That's the one. Okay. I guess the question is, first you'd have to have the money, right? And then the other one is, when would you be able to execute?
You don't have to answer.
You don't have to answer, just
Okay. I feel so much pressure. Okay, yes.
She remembers.
You have to please write it out every day because the boom is going to, when she come back home and she read it. So please write it out your ideas.
Yeah, so I'm actually working with a client that's kind of in this situation. They're a gingerbread beverage company, right? But they play in that kind of alcoholic space, breweries and stuff. And so we've hit this about 3 months ago. A couple things that I would consider. Go to the large restaurant brands like Great American, Landry's, because that'll give you scale, but the margins are bad. And really think about a B2B to C type of model where you're you're doing some consumer packaging and going into like Earth Fare, right? They just got into Earth Fairs, like some of the smaller grocery chains. And those type of environments where you can really continue to build out that brand, because you're gonna find that brand becomes very valuable very quickly. And it's easy to grow regionally. Like when you get into an Earth Fair, they're Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, right? 40 locations. But as you go to B2B, the other piece of it is how you deliver. Right? You've got to have some delivery infrastructure, and that includes trucks or however you're going to do it, but that gets expensive.
Yes.
Yeah, several questions actually. First of all, you originally said you got most of your business from Amazon, but then you said you got most of your business from networking?
No, the wholesale business that we have so far has been through networking. Yeah.
Oh, okay. One of my thoughts was that the Reston Chamber is having their annual event in Reston, South Reston Town Center, and it would seem to me like that would be a great place to display yourself. I'm not sure what the cost of a table would be, but I know that they have lots of people running through there. That would be a way to attract attention from groups, I guess individuals.
Can you repeat the name of the event?
The Reston Chamber of Commerce, just go on their website, and I am certain that they've gotta have something on there about how to sign up for a table for the event.
Okay.
And then, my other thought is, what about something like gift stores? My sister has a specialty thing, and I'm thinking maybe you could do something like that, because there are gift stores out there that might wanna sell something like this. And it would be a specialty thing where, get people to come there because they have specialty products, if they're following.
Do you have any more questions?
No.
Okay, yeah.
I was just thinking about some other ideas around themes, like is there a prom teeny package where it's mocktails, of course, but for prom, or if it's a monthly fundraiser like cancer awareness, do you have a budget in your pricing where you could say, hey, anytime you buy this kit, because you're hosting a party at your house to raise money or whatever, you know, a portion goes to this charity, breast cancer awareness, you know, teeny kit, cocktails, whatever. It would be interesting just to think about some of the other days throughout the year, or things that last a whole week or a whole month, like restaurant week. Is there, you know, some way you could do that where you could get people who host events or who care about causes to order kits just for that? Something to think about.
That's a good one. Thank you.
Okay.
Reggie Holmes, Enthuse Creative. I was wondering if you had ever done like a pop-up shop, create like your own experience.
We've done we've not done specifically that. Event planning is not easy.
Sure.
But yes, I think that could help to highlight the experience of the brand, the experience of the products. Yes.
And then like, so along with that idea, like maybe partnering with a smaller caterer, like startup, you know, food truck or something like that, where all you have to do is bring your part of it, but like people want food and drink, you know, so somewhere where there's food, there's, you know, the drink that you are helping to, you know, customize and allow people to enjoy that experience more, and there's kind of a ready-made experience, you know, so it's not something where there's a lot of work involved on your part. You just got to be there and do what you do, and then, you know, people can sort of enjoy it and experience it that way. So that's what I do.
Thank you, Liz.
Yeah, Omar Abdellian again. Just kind of curious, there's a couple of ideas here that rang around earlier. I guess since wholesale, the way you want to do it, I mean, it doesn't really have to be here if you don't have to physically visit them, right? So I mean, nowadays where some people are finding some success to draw people in, I mean, I'm not saying this is the idea, but just these are things that are working. This is not my assumption. But you know, here's, I mean, yours is a visual product. You know, I don't know, if it's YouTube video and write some blogs and pick some communities, Facebook groups or some kind of blog groups or areas where this actual people, like she had mentioned earlier, if we can identify who that person is that would be interested, right? That could be a B2B customer. You could write some blogs and have a YouTube video. Hey, this could do this for your party, and you know, and you could do something like that, which is very effective, by the way, nowadays. This is not something that is just my assumption. This is been studying it. Just idea, but you may be able to actually get some leads that way. And I think the gentleman over there, you mentioned about having something to attract, a magnet. Hey, listen, this could make you more money. Hey, this right here, this is going to bring and attract the customer that you normally wouldn't have, like the gentleman who doesn't drink, or like the children that are looking, oh, mommy, can you get me this? Right? So just some thoughts, you know, that, have you done anything with video?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to nowadays with Instagram and Facebook and stuff. So yeah, we've done, particularly the Cotton Candy does really well in videos. But there's always
More to be done.
Always more, yes. Content is necessary.
Krista, Breakaway Fitness. I had another thought. This isn't B2B, but back to B2C that you're doing. Do you have any type of subscription model, a monthly kind of, you can get your new cocktail mixer every month, so you have somebody locked in for 12 months or every quarter?
Yeah.
Do you do that?
No, we haven't. We've explored that. We actually also sell to some subscription box companies who have reached out and included our product in their thing. It is on my goals. One of my goals is to be able to get to the point where we can do subscription boxes.
I think
Yeah.
that's the only way to go
Yeah.
with the B2C, because you lock people in
Yeah.
and they forget to pay, I mean, don't forget to like discontinue their
Yes.
subscription.
We- yes.
Like a gym membership.
Yes.
So let me ask, Katie Nelson, Sales Uprising, really quickly. I hear two different things. So I love the point about being tactical, but from a growth perspective, how much are you looking to grow in the B2B space this year?
So I would like to, by the end of the year, I would like to increase our sales B2B tenfold. I know that sounds like a lot, but from where we are right now, I think it's achievable. Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that I would start taking a look at when you're talking about you have met your B2B clients from a networking perspective is maybe look at it a little bit differently. I don't, going wholesale is gonna be a really big get for you if you wanna get into the Ritz, right?
Yeah.
So, because you're custom, what it makes me think of are the people who do branding, right? So there are a lot of people in town who associate customized gifting with brands, right? There are companies that alcohol is part and parcel of what they do, right? So if you could actually create brand for those businesses, they would buy it on a regular basis for you. They give it to their clients, they give it to their friends. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
So that may actually be closer to the target that you currently have, just to generate some revenue so that you can put some of these other ideas in place.
Yeah.
Because it's something you already do, right? You already
Yes.
do customized for the consumer on Etsy and Amazon.
Mhm.
So it should be an easily absorbable thing for business to business.
Okay, we can take two more very fast, because my time is here, so.
So I have two things. I think that the children's idea or the water idea is fantastic. Parents are always looking for healthy alternatives for their kids other than soda in a restaurant. If you pre-packaged that and you came up with your own marketing and branding plan around that, you could sell that one package probably into a lot of places. And second, I would think about your B2C pricing strategy, where a lot of times you go just for margin. Another strategy for that is volume. So maybe you offer a 2-for or 3-for pricing strategy that cuts your margin down a little but increases your volume tenfold and gets you more exposure.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, I will just mention the LinkedIn. There will be the upgrade version called the Sales Navigator, where you can virtually contact everybody in the business, virtually everybody. So I had the experience that one of our company contact with Intel contacts, and we had a great meeting, and it's a very productive meeting. So it costs a little bit more than it's a free, but
Right.
it's worth. It's worth. You can contact virtually anybody. So I highly recommend to upgrade.
Yeah, I
version.
haven't even tried exploring.
Sales
through LinkedIn.
Navigator
Okay.
is upgrade version.
Okay, and the last question for today. Do you have a question for us?
I do. Yeah, so the question is what can our 1 Million Cups community do for you?
Well, I don't know. I feel like I've gotten so much already. I really do. If you have any other comments, if something comes to you tomorrow, a week from tomorrow, please email me. I'm A. Walker at Blue Henry Spirits. If you have a friend who's interested in our products, I'm happy to share what we do with them. Yeah, thank you guys. I feel overwhelmed. But,
Contact information again, please.
A. Walker at BlueHenrySpirits.com.
So as a token of our appreciation for 1 Million Cups, we know how hard it is to come up here and bare your soul to the audience to get support.